The night I helped a homeless man, I didn't know I was signing my enemy's death warrants. Not literal death. Worse. The kind where they stay alive long enough to watch everything they love fall apart. It was raining that night. The kind of rain that doesn't just soak your clothes, it soaks your mood. My shoes were already leaking. My phone battery was dying. And my head was still spinning from what happened at work earlier that day. I'd just been humiliated. Publicly. By my own boss. I worked at a tech startup. Long hours. Low pay. Big promises. And I was the idiot who believed every word of them. That morning, I had presented an idea. Not just any idea. My idea. One I'd been building in my head for months. A system that could automate half our workflow and save the company millions. I stood in that meeting room, heart pounding, palms sweating, hoping, just once, someone would see my worth. I finished my pitch. Silence. Then my boss, Victor, leaned back in his chair, smirked, and said, "Daniel, this isn't Silicon Valley. This is the real world. Sit down." The room laughed. Not loud. Not cruel. Just enough to sting. I sat down slowly. My face burned. My chest felt hollow. Like something inside me had cracked. That laugh followed me all day. Now, hours later, I was walking home in the rain, replaying it again and again. Sit down. I didn't see the homeless man at first. I almost stepped over him. He was sitting against a closed grocery store. Cardboard under him. Plastic bag over his head like a shield from the rain. His hands were wrapped around his knees like he was trying to hold himself together. Most people walked past. I did too. 3 steps. Then I stopped. Something about him didn't look right. Not drunk. Not high. Not crazy. Just defeated. I turned around. "You okay, man?" He looked up slowly. His beard was messy. His face dirty. But his eyes? Sharp. Tired. But sharp. "I will be," he said quietly. His voice didn't sound weak. It sounded controlled. Like someone who used to give orders. I don't know why I did it. I barely had money myself. But I went into the store next door, bought him hot food, a coffee, and a cheap jacket. When I handed it to him, his hands shook. Not from cold. From surprise. "Why?" he asked. I shrugged. "Because everyone deserves to be seen." He stared at me for a long second. Like he was memorizing my face. "Name?" he asked. "Daniel." "Mine is Aaron." We sat there in the rain while he ate. No small talk. No pity talk. Just silence and rain. Before I left, he said something strange. "You don't know it yet, but tonight matters." I smiled. "For you, maybe." He shook his head slowly. "For both of us." I walked away. Didn't think about him again. Until the next day. Because the next day? My life collapsed. The next morning, I walked into the office like nothing had happened. Same grey walls. Same fake smiles. Same smell of burnt coffee and ambition. But something felt off. People weren't looking at me the same way. They weren't laughing. They weren't nodding. They were avoiding me. I dropped my bag at my desk and logged in. My email inbox exploded. Subject lines everywhere. Urgent. Need to talk. Call me ASAP. Then I saw the one that made my stomach drop. From Victor? Subject, my office. Now. I stood up. Every step to his office felt heavier than the last. When I walked in, Victor was standing by the window. Arms crossed. Jaw tight. No smirk this time. "Close the door, Daniel." I did. He turned around and slapped a folder onto the desk. "Explain." I opened it. My blood went cold. Printed screenshots. Internal documents. My idea. My system. But with someone else's name on it. Victor's. This is mine," I said. "You saw me present it yesterday." Victor leaned forward slowly. "You think anyone here believes you?" he asked quietly. "Or do you think they believe me?" I couldn't speak. He continued, calm. Deadly calm. "You're good, Daniel. Too good. And people like you get dangerous when they start thinking they matter." My chest tightened. "You stole my work," I said. He smiled. "No," he replied. "I improved it. You just helped." I stood there, hands shaking. Then he dropped the final blow. "We're restructuring. Your role has been eliminated." I blinked. "What? You're fired?" Just like that? No warning. No HR. No mercy. Security walked me out. People watched from their desks. Not one of them said a word. Outside, I stood on the sidewalk, box in my arms, rain starting again. Same rain. Same city. But now? No job. No future. No respect. I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because if I didn't, I would have screamed. I went home and sat in the dark. Didn't eat. Didn't sleep. All I could see was Victor's face. That smirk. That voice. You think anyone here believes you? That night, I went back to that same street. Same grocery store. Same corner. I don't know why. Maybe because it was the only place where someone had actually looked at me like I mattered. And there he was. Aaron. Sitting there like the rain didn't touch him. He looked up when he saw me. His eyes changed. Not pity. Concern. You're not okay, he said. I sat down next to him. And for the first time in my life, I told a stranger everything. About the idea. About Victor. About the firing. About how small I felt. When I finished, Aaron was quiet for a long time. Then he said something that sent a chill through my spine. Do you want revenge, or do you want justice? I looked at him. What's the difference? He smiled. Revenge is emotional. Justice is permanent. Then he stood up. And in that moment, he didn't look homeless anymore. He looked dangerous. Controlled. Focused. Like a man who knew exactly how power works. Daniel, he said, go home. Rest. Tomorrow, I introduce you to the real world. And for the first time since I was fired, I didn't feel weak. I felt ready. The next morning, my phone buzzed before my alarm. One message. From an unknown number. Coffee. 8 a.m. Same place, Aaron. I stared at the screen for a long second. Same place. Same corner where I'd met a homeless man in the rain. I got dressed fast. Didn't know why my heart was beating so hard. Hope? Fear? Curiosity? Maybe all three. When I reached the cafe across the street from the grocery store, I almost didn't recognize him. Aaron was sitting at a table by the window. Clean shave. Pressed dark coat. Leather shoes. No cardboard. No plastic bag. No homeless man. He looked like money. He stood when he saw me. Morning, Daniel. I sat down slowly. What the hell is going on? I asked. He smiled. Not friendly. Strategic. I needed to know who you were before you knew who I was. I didn't speak. He took a sip of coffee and said calmly. My name is Aaron Cole. I used to run 3 companies in this city. 2 failed. 1 didn't. My breath caught. He continued. I disappeared on purpose. For a year. No money. No name. No power. I wanted to see how people treat you when you're nothing. I remembered the way people walked past him. Like he didn't exist. And you, he added, looking straight at me. You stopped. My chest tightened. I don't get it, I said. You will. He pulled out a tablet and slid it across the table. On the screen, Victor. Photos. Documents. Emails. My stomach turned. Victor meeting with competitors. Victor stealing ideas. Victor lying to investors. He didn't just steal from you, Aaron said. He steals from everyone. You were just the easiest. My jaw clenched. So why help me? I asked. Aaron leaned back. Because men like Victor survive on silence. And you're done being silent. I didn't respond. He tapped the tablet again. Your idea? It's brilliant. Not just for saving money. For exposing systems. Tracking leaks. Finding fraud. My heart started racing. You built something that can ruin him, Aaron said quietly. You just didn't know it yet. I swallowed. What do you want from me? Aaron smiled. Justice. Then he stood. Your revenge doesn't start with anger. It starts with patience. That afternoon, he took me to a building downtown. Glass walls. Security. A lobby that smelled like power. We went up to the top floor. His floor. This is mine, he said casually. I stared. You were homeless, I whispered. He looked at me. No. I was invisible. He opened a door. Inside, servers. Screens. Analysts. People who knew things. Real things. This is where we watch people like Victor, Aaron said. And today, you join me. I felt like I was standing at the edge of something big. Something dangerous. Something irreversible. Aaron turned to me. First move, he said. We let Victor think he won. My phone buzzed again. A message. From my old coworker. Daniel. Victor just announced your idea as his. Investors loved it. I looked at Aaron. He smiled. Good, he said. Now he's visible. And when predators get visible, they get hunted. Victor didn't just take my idea. He wore it. Like a crown. The next morning, Aaron showed me a live stream from the company's social page. Victor was on stage. Bright lights. Big screen behind him. My system. My words. My vision. But his mouth. Years of hard work, Victor said. Late nights. Countless sacrifices. I laughed. Not funny. Sick. Aaron didn't even blink. Watch his body, he said. Victor stood tall. Chest out. Chin high. Smiling like a man who thought he'd finally outrun his past. He thinks he's untouchable, I said. Aaron nodded. That's when people make mistakes. The first move wasn't loud. It was quiet. Invisible. Aaron handed me a laptop. Your system can track document fingerprints, he said. Every file Victor ever touched left a trail. You just never followed it. My hands hovered over the keyboard. Let's follow it. For the next 3 hours, we didn't speak. Just screens. Data. Patterns. And then, there it was. Victor had been selling modified versions of my system to competitors under fake accounts. Not just stealing. Double dealing. My stomach twisted. Investors don't know, I whispered. Aaron smiled. Not yet. That night, Victor posted a photo. Him at a private club. Expensive drink. Caption, winners don't wait for permission. The comments loved him. I hated him. Aaron showed me our first trap. An anonymous email. To Victor. Subject, your work is being stolen. Inside. Someone inside your company is leaking your system to competitors. I have proof. If you want it, meet me. Victor read it. We watched his reaction on camera. He frowned. Looked around. Then typed a reply. Who are you? Aaron looked at me. Now he's scared. I swallowed. Good. The next day, Victor stormed into the office, accusing people. Threatening. Watching everyone like a hunter in a room full of mirrors. No one trusted anyone. The company started shaking. And Victor? He didn't sleep. Aaron leaned over and whispered. Next move, Daniel, we make him trust the wrong person. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Meet me. Tonight. Alone. I looked at Aaron. He smiled slowly. That's him. And just like that, the game began. The message sat on my screen like a loaded gun. Meet me. Tonight. Alone. No name. No emoji. No explanation. Just control. I showed Aaron. He didn't hesitate. He thinks you're scared. Good. Let him. The place Victor chose was a parking garage under a closed mall. Fluorescent lights flickering. Empty. Echoing. Perfect for secrets. I arrived 5 minutes early. My heartbeat sounded loud in my ears. Every footstep bounced off concrete like it was announcing me. Then I saw him. Victor leaned against a black SUV. Arms crossed. Face tight. No suit. No smile. Just a man who knew something was wrong in his world. You're late, he said. I'm not, I replied. You're early. His eyes narrowed. You sent the email. Maybe. He stepped closer. You want money? I laughed once. Short. Cold. I want truth. He tilted his head. Then you came to the wrong person. I took out my phone and showed him one screenshot. Just one. A contract. With his signature. Selling my system to a rival firm. His face changed. Not anger. Fear. He looked around the garage. Where did you get that? He whispered. From your shadow, I said. You've been followed longer than you think. He swallowed. What do you want? There it was. Not confidence. Not power. Just survival. I want you to trust me, I said. He stared at me. Why would I do that? Because I'm the only one who can stop what's coming. Silence. Then he asked the question that told me everything. Is it? Daniel. I smiled. Just a little. His jaw tightened. So you're not dead after all? Not yet. He ran a hand through his hair. What do you want from me? Information, I said. Your partners. Your accounts. Your real numbers. He laughed nervously. You think I'll just hand you my life? I leaned in. You already did. I sent him another image. His private email inbox. Every lie. Every deal. Every betrayal. He froze. You've been busy, I added. His voice cracked. What happens if I don't cooperate? I straightened. Then your empire burns in public. He stared at me for a long second. Then nodded. Slowly. Okay, he said. We talk. And just like that, Victor stopped being the hunter. And started being the hunted. Victor started talking. Not loudly. Not proudly. Quietly. Like a man confessing to a mirror. We sat in a dark corner of the garage, engines humming somewhere far away, rain dripping from the ceiling in slow, steady taps. He pulled out his phone. Unlocked it. And handed me his life. 3 accounts, he said. Offshore. 2 fake companies. 1 real partner. I didn't touch the phone. Aaron had taught me something important. When a man is scared, let him feel it. Say the names, I told him. Victor swallowed. Rexler Group. Northway Tech. And Blackline Holdings. My chest tightened. Blackline. That was one of the biggest venture firms in the city. You sold my system to them, I said. He nodded. They paid double what our investors would have. So you betrayed everyone. He didn't argue. That's business. No, I replied. That's theft with a tie on. He flinched. I finally took the phone. Scrolled. Every message was worse than the last. Lies. Fake reports. Bribes. Aaron was right. Victor wasn't just corrupt. He was rotten. The next morning, the company felt different. Like a house where someone had just found termites. People whispered. Emails went unanswered. Meetings got cancelled. Victor didn't smile anymore. He jumped at every notification. Aaron and I watched from our office downtown. You're not destroying him, Aaron said calmly. You're letting him destroy himself. By noon, one investor pulled out. By evening, 2 more followed. Victor's stock photos disappeared from social media. The comments changed. What's going on? Why did they cancel the demo? Anyone else hearing rumors? Victor called me. 10 times. I didn't answer. That night, he showed up at my apartment. I looked through the peephole. He looked smaller. Not physically. Mentally. I opened the door halfway. Daniel, he said. We need to talk. I'm listening, I replied. He stepped inside. His voice cracked. They're leaving. Someone's poisoning them. I nodded. Good. He grabbed his head. You're doing this. No, I said. You did this. I'm just letting people see it. He looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. Not as an employee. Not as a threat. But as a mirror. What do you want? He whispered. I leaned in close. I want you to feel what it's like to lose everything slowly. He said nothing. And for the first time, Victor didn't feel powerful. He felt human. And humans break. The first article dropped at 6:12 a.m. Aaron sent me the link with no caption. Just a fire emoji. I opened it. Headline. Anonymous whistleblower claims major tech CEO sold stolen IP to rivals. My heart started beating faster. The article didn't name Victor. Not yet. But every detail matched. Timeline. Project. Even the exact phrases Victor used in his presentations. By 7 a.m., X, was on fire. By 8 a.m., Victor's company trended. By 9 a.m., reporters stood outside their building. We watched the live feed from Aaron's office. Cameras. Microphones. People shouting questions. Mr. Hale. Did you steal company IP? Are you under investigation? Is it true you sold proprietary tech? Victor pushed through the doors. Suit on. Hair perfect. But his eyes? Panicking. He raised his hands. I have no comment at this time. He tried to smile. It didn't work. One reporter yelled, "What about Daniel Price? The employee you fired?" My name hit him like a slap. He froze for half a second. Just long enough for the cameras to catch it. Aaron paused the screen. Did you see that? He asked. I nodded. That, Aaron said, is guilt. By noon, the company issued a statement. We take these allegations seriously and are conducting an internal review. Translation. They were scared. Victor called me again. I answered this time. Daniel, he said, trying to sound calm. This is getting out of control. Good, I replied. He exhaled sharply. Talk to your people. Make it stop. You can't stop truth once it's moving, I said. You can only decide how badly it runs you over. Silence. Then he whispered, You're enjoying this. I didn't deny it. That evening, Aaron took me to a bar downtown. Not to drink. To watch. The place had giant TVs on every wall. News channels everywhere. And every channel? Victor. They replayed his clip on a loop. That frozen moment when his face cracked. People in the bar laughed. One guy said, he looks guilty as hell. Another said, they all are. I sat there, watching strangers tear apart the man who once tore me apart. And for the first time, it didn't feel like revenge. It felt like balance. Aaron leaned over. Tomorrow, he said, we make it personal. I looked at him. How? He smiled. We let the world meet the real Victor. Not the CEO. Not the hero. The man. My phone buzzed. Message from Victor. Please, let's talk. I stared at it. Then at Aaron. Then back at the screen showing Victor's collapsing image. And I typed one word. Soon. Because the next move wasn't about destroying his company. It was about destroying his story. The next morning, my name was everywhere. Not in headlines. In whispers. Daniel Price. Ex-employee. Whistleblower. They didn't know the full story yet. But they were starting to ask the right questions. Aaron stood by the window in his office, phone pressed to his ear. He nodded a few times, then hung up. Channel 7 wants you, he said. I blinked. For what? For the truth, he replied. Or at least, your version of it. My stomach tightened. I'm not a public speaker. Aaron smiled. You're not a victim anymore either. That afternoon, he showed me the file we'd been holding back. Victor's personal secrets. Not illegal. Not violent. Worse. Hypocritical. Victor had built his public image around being a family man. Charity galas. Photos with kids. Interviews about integrity. But behind the scenes? He was bleeding his own charity dry. Using donations to fund his private deals. Paying himself consulting fees from money meant for shelters and education. I stared at the numbers. That's low, I whispered. Aaron nodded. People forgive greed. They don't forgive lies about morality. We didn't leak it yet. Not directly. We let a journalist discover it. That night, another headline hit. CEO's charity under investigation for misuse of funds. This time, they named him. Victor Hale. The comments were brutal. Disgusting. He stole from kids. Lock him out of society. Victor called me again. I didn't answer. Then he texted. You're ruining my life. I stared at the screen. Then typed back. You did that the day you stole mine. An hour later, Channel 7 confirmed. Tomorrow night? Live interview. With me. The ex-employee. The whistleblower. The one Victor thought he'd erased. That evening, Aaron coached me. Not on what to say. On how to say nothing, and still speak loud. Pause before you answer, he said. Let silence do the damage. Look into the camera, he added. Not the host. The people at home. That's your jury. The next night, the studio lights felt like heat lamps. The host smiled at me. Daniel Price, she said. Why now? I took a breath. And told the truth. About the idea. About the meeting. About being fired. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just remembered. When she asked about Victor, I paused. Long? Then said quietly. He didn't just take my work. He took my voice. I'm just taking it back. The clip went viral in minutes. People saw themselves in me. The underpaid. The ignored. The used. And Victor? Victor watched it too. Aaron showed me the security feed from his office. He sat alone in the dark. Screen glowing. My face on repeat. He didn't move. He didn't blink. He just shrank. Aaron turned to me. Final phase, he said. I looked at him. What is it? He smiled. We let Victor meet the version of you he created. And this time, Daniel wasn't asking for respect. He was taking it. Victor didn't sleep that night. Neither did I. But for very different reasons. I was awake because my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Messages from strangers. From old co-workers. From people I'd never met, saying things like, thank you for speaking up. That interview hit hard. I went through the same thing. Victor was awake because his world was closing in. Aaron's team pulled the camera feeds from Victor's building. He paced his office like a trapped animal. Suit jacket off. Hair undone. Phone glued to his ear. He was calling favors. And running out of them. At 3:17 a.m., he made his move. Not smart. Desperate. My phone rang. Blocked number. I answered. Daniel, Victor said. His voice was hoarse. We need to fix this. Together. Funny, I replied. You didn't need me when you broke it. He exhaled sharply. I can make you rich, he said. Public apology. Partnership. Your idea back. All of it. I leaned back in my chair. You already took my idea, I said. You don't get to buy it twice. Silence. Then he tried something else. Do you know what happens to people who cross men like me? I smiled. I'm counting on it. He hung up. Aaron looked at me. He's going to try to smear you. An hour later, the hit piece went live. Headline. Whistleblower or disgruntled ex-employee? Questions raised about Daniel Price's motives. They dug into my past. Old parking tickets. A failed startup. A breakup. Nothing illegal. But enough to paint me as bitter. The comments turned ugly. He just wants fame. Sounds like sour grapes. Where's the proof? Victor's last card was doubt. Aaron nodded slowly. Good. That means he's out of power moves. What's left? I asked. Only one thing, Aaron said. Exposure in real time. That afternoon, Victor called a press conference. Live. He wanted to control the story again. Big mistake. Aaron leaned forward. We crash it. My stomach dropped. How? With the truth, he said. And timing. We didn't send emails. We didn't leak files. We waited. Victor walked onto the stage at 5 p.m. Cameras everywhere. He stood behind the podium like a man trying to remember how confidence felt. My company has always operated with integrity, he began. Aaron counted down with his fingers. 3, 2, 1. Every journalist's phone buzzed at the same time. Emails. Attachments. Subject line. Victor Hale, full evidence package. Documents. Contracts. Charity misuse. IP theft. Internal messages. Everything. Victor saw their faces change. Confusion. Then shock. Then hunger. A reporter raised her hand. "Mr. Hale," she said. "Care to explain these emails where you admit the tech wasn't yours?" Victor froze. Another reporter shouted, "What about the charity funds?" Another, "Did you fire Daniel Price to steal his system?" His mouth opened. Nothing came out. That was the moment. The mask didn't fall. It melted. Victor looked around. No allies. No control. Just eyes. Watching. Waiting. Judging. He stepped back from the podium. And walked off stage. Not like a CEO. Like a man running from his own reflection. Aaron turned to me. "Now," he said, "comes the part where he tries to see you." My phone buzzed. One message. From Victor. "Please. Just meet me." I stared at the screen. Then at Aaron. Then at the city lights outside the window. And I typed. "Tomorrow. Noon. Same garage." Because the story didn't end with headlines. It ended face to face. Noon came faster than I expected. The garage was empty. Fluorescent lights flickering. Aaron stood beside me. Calm. Ready. Like a shadow. I walked to the center, phone in hand. One message sent to Victor. "Here. Now." Minutes later, he arrived. Sweat on his brow. Shirt untucked. Tie loose. The smell of fear, not perfume, hit me before he did. "Daniel," he said, voice trembling. "We can fix this. Please." I didn't move. Aaron whispered, "Let him feel it." Victor tried to hold himself upright. Tried to regain control. Tried to smile. Nothing worked. Every instinct screamed that this time, he wasn't in charge. I pulled out my phone. Opened a document. Pressed play. A slideshow of every lie. Every stolen file. Every email proving he used my system for personal gain. Screenshots of internal messages. Contracts showing charity misuse. Victor froze. He stepped back. You can't." "You already did," I interrupted. "And now everyone will see it." The sound of rain outside echoed against the concrete walls. It felt like applause. Victor's hand shook. Face pale. Eyes darting. For the first time, he couldn't talk his way out. I took a deep breath. "You thought I was powerless," I said quietly. "That firing me would erase me. That stealing my work would make you untouchable." He whispered, "Daniel, please." I shook my head. "You made me invisible once. You showed me what it feels like to be erased. But now, I decide who sees you." Aaron stepped forward, hand on my shoulder. "Say it," he prompted. I pressed send. The slideshow and documents were uploaded publicly. To media outlets. To social platforms. To investors. To everyone who had once trusted Victor. I watched as color drained from his face. He tried to speak. Tried to argue. Tried to beg. But the world was listening. And they were judging. Victor Hale, the man who humiliated me, stole from me, lied to everyone, shrank in the shadows of greed and arrogance. He was powerless. And I? I finally felt whole. Aaron looked at me. "You did it," he said. I nodded. "We did it." The garage felt warmer. The rain slowed outside. Sunlight cutting through the clouds. Not revenge alone had given me this. Justice. Karma. Recognition. Closure. Victor slumped against the wall, broken. And Daniel, finally Daniel, stood tall. The world had seen him rise. The rain had stopped. But the tension inside me was heavier than any storm I had walked through. Aaron had left a few minutes earlier, his calm voice lingering like a shadow. "Daniel," he said as he walked out, "the next hours, decide everything." I stood alone in the office, staring at my laptop. Emails were still flooding in. Screenshots. Documents. Investors messaging me. Journalists asking for confirmation. And somewhere in the background, Victor's empire began to shake from every angle I hadn't even touched yet. But Victor wasn't finished. I knew it. And that was the scariest part. The phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Daniel." His voice. Weak. Trembling. Fear. But still laced with arrogance. I need to talk," Victor said. I let the line go silent. Seconds stretched into eternity. "Go on," I said finally, calm. "I can fix this, you don't understand, the world will believe me." I cut him off. "You already lost. Every move you've made, every lie you told, it's all in the light now. The question is, do you survive it?" Silence. And then the first crack in his control appeared. You can't do this," he whispered. "I already have," I said. I hung up. My hands shook, not from fear, but anticipation. The anticipation of seeing a man who thought himself untouchable crumble, piece by piece. By noon, the city outside was buzzing. Social media feeds were saturated. Investors had started pulling out. The news networks were running repeated segments: CEO under fire, former employee exposes corruption. Aaron walked back in, leaning casually against the doorway. "They're panicking," he said. "Victor just realized the narrative isn't his anymore." I nodded. "I want him to feel it," I said. Aaron smirked. "You will. But not yet. Not too early." We waited. Hours. Minutes seemed to crawl. Then it happened. Victor made a mistake. A small, almost invisible mistake. He sent an email. To a competitor. As usual, he tried to hide it. But we tracked it immediately. Aaron leaned over my shoulder. "He's trying to manipulate the market. Classic Victor. Overconfident. Dangerous. And stupid." I typed a single line. "Caught." The notification pinged on his end. I could imagine him looking at it. Confusion. Panic. Sweat. A flicker of fear in his eyes that no public mask could hide. Aaron whispered, "Watch closely. He's going to make the next move himself." Sure enough. By 5 p.m., Victor appeared on a live stream. His company's official page. All followers watching. All eyes glued. He tried to control the narrative. Words rehearsed. Smiles forced. Hands shaking. And Daniel? Daniel sat back in a chair, hands folded, watching the collapse begin. The first reporter asked a simple question. "Mr. Hale, can you explain why your charity accounts appear to be misused?" Victor stammered. He paused. Then tried to deflect. There's a misunderstanding." A live notification popped up on my screen. Another document. Another screenshot of a private message. Aaron leaned close. "Give it to them." I tapped a few keys. The files instantly appeared in front of every journalist. Screens. Tabs. Documents. Evidence. All undeniable. Victor froze. Eyes wide. Mouth opening. Closing. Searching for words. The city watched. And I could almost hear the collective gasp of thousands through the screens. Aaron whispered again. "He's slipping. This is it. He can't recover." But I knew better. Victor was a survivor. He was cunning. And desperate men are dangerous. That's when I decided to escalate. I drafted a single email. Subject line. "Victor Hale, the truth." Attachments, all documents. All messages. All evidence. Every lie traced back to him. Recipient list, media contacts. Investors. Law firms. Regulatory boards. Send. I hit enter. Ping. The floodgates opened. Aaron leaned back, watching me with a small grin. "Daniel, enjoy this. Because he's going to strike back. Hard." I didn't speak. I knew. The suspense was electric. A storm was coming. And I was standing right in its path. Minutes passed. Hours. Notifications blew up my screen. Tweets. Shares. Articles. Comments. Investors calling me. Lawyers sending confirmation requests. And somewhere, in the shadows, Victor was losing his mind. Then the first message from him appeared. "This isn't over. Meet me. Tonight. 1 hour. Warehouse on 5th alone. Or I make sure you regret this." I stared at it. Aaron appeared beside me, calm. "You expected it." I took a deep breath. "I'm ready." He smirked. "Good. Because tonight, the psychological game begins." He thinks he's hunting Daniel Price. But really, he's walking into the lion's den. I checked my reflection in the dark window. Rain had started again outside. The city lights reflected in the wet asphalt. I felt the thrill. The tension. The anticipation. The killer hooks were everywhere. Victor's ego. My patience. Aaron's guidance. The media. The evidence. The city. Everything was set. And tomorrow, everything would change. The suspense was at its peak. Because Victor Hale had no idea what was coming. And Daniel? Daniel was finally ready to strike in ways the world would never forget. The warehouse was silent. I parked a few blocks away, rain slicking the streets, reflections of neon signs dancing like flickering shadows. My hands gripped the steering wheel. Heart pounding, not from fear, but anticipation. Every step of this plan had led to tonight. Every betrayal, every stolen idea, every humiliation. Victor Hale had sent the message. 1 hour. Alone. Alone. Aaron's voice echoed in my memory. He thinks he's hunting Daniel Price. But he's walking into the lion's den. The warehouse loomed in front of me. Rusted doors. Broken windows. A faint hum of electricity. Somewhere inside, he waited. I grabbed my coat, stepped out into the rain. The cold water soaked through my shirt, but I barely noticed. Every nerve in my body screamed with tension. I pushed the door open. Victor was already there. His back to me. Hands on a crate. Head down. The flicker of security lights painted him in half shadow. "Daniel," his voice. Cautious. Uneasy. I didn't respond. I walked closer. Footsteps echoing. He straightened. Face pale. Eyes darting. This isn't necessary, he said. Voice trembling. I smiled. Not friendly. Strategic. It's always necessary when someone crosses me, I said quietly. Victor swallowed. Try to stand tall. Try to reclaim the arrogance he always wore like armor. It didn't work. Not tonight. You think you're untouchable, I continued. That your lies, your theft, your betrayals, they make you powerful. He shifted, uncomfortable. Hands twitching. Daniel, don't do this. I stopped a few feet away. Pulled out my phone. One by one, files opened. Screenshots. Contracts. Messages. Proof of every illegal deal, every theft, every misuse of funds. Victor's eyes widened. His mouth opened, but no words came out. Aaron's voice rang in my ear through the earpiece. Now. I pressed send. Emails. Media. Investors. Journalists. Public records. The evidence spread instantly, unstoppable. Victor took a step back. No, this can't be happening. You created this world, I said. And now, it's collapsing around you. The first reporter called him live. Mr. Hale, can you explain why these documents show you misappropriating funds from your charity? Victor stammered. Tried to laugh. Tried to deflect. Nothing. I watched him shrink in real time. Aaron leaned over my shoulder. Good. Let the fear sink in. Let him feel it. Every second counts. Victor's breathing grew erratic. He raised his hands, tried to regain composure. This isn't the full story. I laughed. Low. Cold. Controlled. It's the story you wrote for yourself. Every notification on his phone pinged. Tweets. News alerts. Shares. Comments. Each one a hammer striking his ego, his pride, his empire. Victor's face went pale. He looked at me, searching for an ally in the shadows. None. He turned to the door. Locked. Windows barred. He was trapped. Aaron whispered, time to escalate. I nodded. Slowly, deliberately. I called a journalist we had coordinated with. A live feed. Camera in the corner. Audio set. Everything ready. Victor, I said softly, you wanted a fight. You got one. He lunged, desperate, trying to snatch my phone. I sidestepped. Calm. Every movement measured. You've been playing this game thinking I'm powerless, I said. But tonight, you see the truth. The live feed went online. Investors tuned in. Reporters tuned in. Social media lit up like wildfire. Every lie, every betrayal exposed in real time. Victor froze. Tried to shout, tried to stop it. But it was too late. Aaron murmured, this is the psychological peak. Hold steady. Don't break. My hands shook slightly. Not from fear. Anticipation. The thrill of seeing justice unfold. The tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Victor's breathing hitched. He backed against a crate. His face, once confident, now a mask of panic and disbelief. You can't, he gasped. I already have, I replied. Every document, every screenshot, every proof of betrayal, streamed across multiple channels. The city watched. The world watched. Victor's empire wasn't just shaken, it was crumbling. He tried to make one last move. A call. Threats. Promises. Bribes. All futile. I leaned in closer. Quietly. Calmly. You thought you controlled everything. But tonight, the hunter becomes the hunted. He stumbled, gaze flickering. Aaron's voice, Daniel, this is your ultimate moment. The suspense. The fear. Let him feel all of it before the final blow. Victor fell to a crate. Shaking. No words. No mask. And Daniel? Daniel stood tall. Calm. Calculated. Ready to take the next step. Because the story wasn't over. Not yet. But the city, the investors, the media, they were all watching. And Victor had no idea what was coming next. Every step, every email, every public exposure, all leading to one inevitable conclusion. The suspense was unbearable. The tension electric. And Daniel. Daniel was finally in control. The warehouse doors groaned as I stepped inside. Rain-streaked glass and concrete reflected faint orange light from the city beyond. Every sound was magnified. Footsteps, water dripping, distant thunder. My pulse was steady. Calm. Focused. Victor Hale was already there. He didn't hide this time. No shadows. No masks. Just him. Pale. Shaking. Desperate. A man stripped bare by the storm he had created. Daniel, his voice quivered. Every syllable weighted with fear. We can. Save your breath, I said. My voice low. Cold. Controlled. Tonight, you face everything. He tried to compose himself. Tried to put on that familiar arrogance. You can't, he stammered, but his words trailed off. I moved closer. Each step echoing, deliberate. I could see him shrinking under my gaze. This wasn't just a confrontation. This was the reckoning. Aaron stepped into the doorway. His presence was quiet, but it radiated control. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Victor could feel it. I pulled out my phone. One tap and the screens around the warehouse lit up. Emails. Media messages. Screenshots of contracts. Private communications. Internal company chats showing lies, betrayals, misuse of funds, and IP theft. Victor's eyes widened. He took a step back. "No, you can't." "You already did," I replied. His breathing became uneven. He tried to speak. Tried to regain control. But I pressed play on a video attachment. A recording of him bragging about stealing my system, lying to investors, manipulating partners. Every lie, every betrayal, played in full clarity. Victor's hands trembled. He stumbled back against a crate. This isn't fair," he shouted. I smiled faintly. "Fair? You've never known fair. But tonight, you'll see justice in real time." Aaron leaned forward, whispering, "Let him feel every second. The suspense. The fear. The inevitability." Victor's phone buzzed. Multiple messages from journalists, investors, and regulatory boards. All evidence had been forwarded. All eyes now on him. He ran a hand through his hair, panic overtaking arrogance. "Daniel, please. I'll fix it, anything." I raised a finger. Silence. The tension thickened. Every tick of the clock felt like a drumbeat in the warehouse. "You underestimated me," I said. "You thought firing me would erase me. Stealing my work would make you untouchable. But tonight, you see what happens when the hunted becomes the hunter." Victor's jaw tightened. He tried to speak, but no words came. His empire crumbling around him. The media feeds, the emails, the live coverage, all unstoppable. Aaron stepped closer, placing a hand on my shoulder. "Now," he whispered. "Finish the psychological game." I nodded. Slowly, deliberately. I opened another folder. One final attachment. A complete timeline of every action Victor had taken against me, emails, recordings, contracts, proofs. Every single lie mapped out for the world to see. Victor staggered back, almost falling. You'll regret this," he hissed. I didn't respond. I just pressed send. Within seconds, it spread. Across emails. Across social media. Across every news outlet we had lined up. The city watched. Investors called lawyers. Partners called regulatory boards. And Victor? Victor was alone. Completely exposed. He fell to his knees against a crate. His breathing shallow. Eyes wide. Mouth open but silent. The man who once commanded power, respect, and fear, now powerless. I stepped closer. The warehouse was silent. The only sound, his trembling. My heartbeat. The storm outside. "You made me invisible once," I said. Quietly. Deliberately. "You showed me what it feels like to be erased. Tonight, you'll understand what it feels like to lose everything, piece by piece, while the world watches." Victor looked up at me. The arrogance gone. No mask. Just fear. Pure, undeniable fear. Aaron whispered, "Let the suspense hold. Don't give him closure. Make him live it." And so I did. Every file. Every screenshot. Every exposure. I let him see it all unfold. Let the world judge. Let him feel the collapse he had orchestrated for others. He shook. Begged. Pleaded. Every attempt futile. The city was watching. The media, the investors, the public, all witnesses to his downfall. Victor Hale, the man who once stole from me, humiliated me, betrayed everyone, finally powerless. And Daniel? Daniel stood tall. Calm. Strategic. Ready to deliver the final act, the ultimate revenge. The suspense had reached its peak. The audience, both in the story and the viewers of this tale, was on edge. And now, the world waited. Victor had no idea what Daniel would do next. But Daniel knew exactly what he wanted. And tonight, everything would change. The warehouse lights flickered as rain hammered the roof outside. The tension inside had thickened to the point where it was almost a physical presence. Victor Hale crouched against the wall, eyes wide, beads of sweat running down his temples. The arrogance, the confidence, the ego that once commanded entire boardrooms, investors, and the city, gone. Aaron leaned casually against a crate, arms crossed. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Victor could feel his control slipping in the air. I stepped closer, phone in hand. Every file, every document, every proof of theft, misappropriation, and lies, the culmination of months of planning, was ready to be revealed in full. Victor's voice cracked. "Daniel, this isn't necessary. We can talk. Make it right?" I shook my head. "You had your chance. You had years to make it right. Tonight, You face the consequences of every choice, every betrayal, every lie. He tried to stand tall. Tried to muster the confidence of a CEO, the kind of presence that had once intimidated everyone in the room. It failed. Completely. You think you're untouchable, I said quietly, but every word carried weight. That firing me would erase me. That stealing my work would make you untouchable. But tonight, you see the truth. Victor's hands shook. You can't do this. I pressed play on the first video attachment. The audio and visuals of him bragging about my stolen system, laughing at his manipulation of investors, calling my work his own, every frame exposing his greed and arrogance. His face went pale. His mouth opened, but no words came. Aaron leaned close, whispering, "Let him feel it. Every second counts." Victor's phone buzzed. Hundreds of notifications. Emails. Messages from reporters, lawyers, investors. His empire unraveling in real time. He staggered, tried to shout, tried to make threats, but no one listened. The city, the media, the public, all witnesses to his collapse. I moved closer. Calm. Collected. Each step deliberate. You've spent your life controlling others, I said. Tonight, the hunter becomes the hunted. Victor trembled. Daniel, please. I'll do anything. I shook my head. You've already made your choices. Now you live with them. And the world watches. Another video. Another proof file. I uploaded it to every channel we had coordinated. Emails to investors, regulatory boards, media contacts. Screenshots of financial mismanagement, misuse of charity funds, internal messages revealing every lie. Victor fell to his knees. Shaking. Pale. Eyes wide. His empire, collapsing. His face, once proud and commanding, now a mask of terror and disbelief. Aaron whispered, "Finish it. Deliver the final act." I stepped closer, calm, controlled. The room seemed smaller. Tension thicker. The rain outside intensified, echoing against the warehouse like a drumbeat of fate. You wanted to erase me, I said quietly. You humiliated me. Stole my work. Betrayed everyone who trusted you. Tonight, you see the power of truth. Victor tried to speak, to defend himself, to claim control, but the words died in his throat. I pulled out my last attachment. A complete timeline of every action he had taken against me, every manipulation, every lie, every stolen idea. Here it is, I said. Everything. I hit send. In an instant, the city watched. The investors watched. Social media exploded. Live feeds captured every frame. Every lie, every betrayal exposed. Victor Hale, the man who once ruled with fear, now powerless. Alone. He slumped against a crate, silent. Eyes wide, mouth slightly open, shaking. He had nothing left. Aaron stepped forward. Daniel, it's done. He can't recover. I looked at Victor. The world knows who you are now. And so do I. You've lost everything. He whispered, I can fix it. No, I said. You can't fix what you've destroyed. The silence stretched. Only the rain, the echoes, and his shaking remained. And Daniel? Daniel finally stood tall. Calm. Calculated. Victorious. Not just because Victor was broken, but because justice had been served. Every betrayal exposed, every lie revealed, every stolen idea reclaimed. The media coverage would continue. Investors would act. The public would judge. And Victor? Victor would remember tonight for the rest of his life. Aaron clapped a hand on my shoulder. You did it. All of it. Perfectly executed. I exhaled, feeling a weight lift. Months of planning, tension, suspense, culminating in this final, psychological, and public revenge. The city outside reflected in the rain-streaked windows. Lights flickering. Life moving forward. But for Victor, the world had ended. And for Daniel, a new chapter began. Justice. Revenge. Closure. Karma. Satisfaction. The ultimate reckoning had arrived.